Okay, Cindy, the stream is live now. I'm going to make you host again.
Hey, Kim.
Hello, Cindy. Good
Hey,
morning.
morning. So usually I ask people to ask questions as we go along because like if they have a question, then it's the time to address it. I feel like that's more conducive to learning. But if somebody puts something in the chat or something or raise a hand that I don't see, feel free to interrupt me immediately and say, you know, hey, so-and-so has a question or whatever. Because a lot of times I miss that stuff. I'm so into teaching the class.
Okay. Okay.
All
Understood.
right. Okay. Thanks a bunch.
You're welcome. By the way, Cindy, I'll be sending you just a message on Slack, just the list of the participants in this class.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, everyone. We'll get going here. Well, hey.
How's Zippy?
Hey, he's doing good. Girl Sue, how are you?
I'm hanging in there. Give him treats. Give him treats. He took and told me you don't give him enough.
He got a lot this morning already. He's done for a while. We'll get started in just a minute as everybody else joins. Give everybody a minute to get settled.
So what's the weather like your way, Cindy?
It's beautiful. A little bit on the warm side for me. It's probably upper 80s, but it's a nice day. Really nice.
That is a little bit warm for you guys.
Yeah, but it's time to get used to it because it's going to be just keeping on going up. That's all there is to it. I see we have someone on that is a number 33456. Do you have a name we can call you? Must not be hearing.
I'm Rachel. Am I 33456?
Yes, ma'am. That's you.
Well, I thought I had changed it to my name, but it doesn't seem to have taken it.
I think if you look at there should be three dots in the top right of your screen, maybe. I see. Oh, it says Rachel now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Thank you.
Sure. Might have just taken a little bit. Okay. We'll go ahead and get started. Before we do that, I will say that we have Kim on the line. She left you a note in the chat box. She's one of our TAs here to help us, help me keep up with any questions that are in the chat room or hands that are raised. I encourage everybody, however, to ask questions as they come up as we go through the program. When something's on your mind about what we're talking about, I think that's the best environment for asking and answering questions when they're right there on the tip of our tongues and our thoughts. So feel free to unmute yourself at any point in time and ask a question, and we'll do the best we can to get an answer for you. This is the class on email scams. My name is Cindy. I'm going to be your guide for the class today. And we will do the class with a little bit of slide presentation, talking about some of the red flags for phishing emails, talk a little bit about ransomware, touch just briefly on how to stay safe in general while you're out there on the internet. And then we'll go and jump out onto the internet and look at some websites that are very helpful from the Federal Trade Commission. And I will send you those websites in a follow-up email. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and let me find the right one here and get it back up to the top where I want to start. Move a couple of things around here. So hopefully everyone can see my screen here that says email scams and how to recognize them. If at any point you can't see my screen, just please let me know, because a lot of times I inadvertently click on the stop the share and don't realize it. And I'm just cruising along talking about things that y'all can't see on the computer. So just feel free to butt in and tell me to get with the program at any point in time here. So this class is on email scams and how to recognize them. Before we get started, I want to say just a few things about Get Set Up. Hopefully all of y'all have taken some other classes and are familiar with Get Set Up. If you're not, or if you have any questions that we can help you with about the website or anything that we do, you can always just email us at help@getsetup.io and ask any questions you want, and we'll get back to you with answers if you have problems scheduling classes or anything like that. Ideally, we'd like to see the cameras on, because it's fun to interact with each other and be able to see each other's expressions and things as we talk and go through class and laugh about things or discuss things that may have happened to us as far as email goes. But if you don't want to turn your camera on, that's fine too, not a problem. If you are joining by live stream by class, the best way to utilize us is to actually set up an account with Get Set Up, and you can track the classes that you've had. There's all kinds of things that you can do on the website itself. So this class is being live streamed on the TV channel for Get Set Up. So just wanted to let you know that. And a lot of times with Get Set Up, we mention different products and services as we teach these classes, and we don't get paid anything to promote any businesses or anything like that. So the Get Set Up community, if you would, please help us spread the word about Get Set Up. Tell your friends, your church friends, any other groups you may join or anything, be a part of or anything like that, and let them know about Get Set Up and what we have to offer. Also, if you have a strong interest in a particular topic and would like to host or an interest group, let us know. We'll be happy to have you. If there are other topics that you would like to see us do classes on, let us know about that too, because we're always looking to our Get Set Up community to give us suggestions for classes that they feel they need or would like to see us offer. This session is being recorded, and if you would like to have a copy of the recording to view after class, to go over things or on your own time, you can, all you have to do is send us an email at help@getsetup.io and tell them the name of the class you'd like the recording of and the date and that you took it, and they will send you a link to the recorded class so that you can go back and review everything. So also at the end of the class, I'll be sending you a follow-up email. It will have a few class notes in it, some key takeaways from the class today, key topics that we're going to talk about. It will also have a section that will offer suggestions for other classes you might be interested in taking. It will have a feedback link where you can click on the link and actually give feedback. It will look something like this, and you can give feedback on the session itself. You can rate your guide, and also you can tell us what we can improve for the class or any other notes that you want. You can free text down here. Let us know if you're interested in hosting an interest group, if there's other classes you want to see or anything like that. You can tell us anything you want down here in this bottom portion. Any questions about anything before we get started? Here's the agenda for today. And I will say, as we get going, each of these classes are very different because we all share some of our own experiences, personal experiences that we've had while using email or seeing scams out there, whether it's via email, text, phone calls, whatever. So please feel free at any point in time to share stories you may have about things you've encountered, or maybe even people that you know that have gotten caught up in some of these criminal activities. I've got several friends that accidentally got suckered into some things. So we'll just we just want to share everything that everybody can. If you have any information about anything like this and how to stay safe, we're going to talk about the definition of phishing and damages that can be associated with interacting with these phishing emails. We're going to learn, most importantly, the signs of a phishing email. That's pretty much what this class really, that's what you really need to come away with, is the signs of a phishing email. We'll talk briefly about ransomware, what that is. Some of you may have heard of ransomware. And then, as I said earlier, we're just going to talk a little bit about just staying safe in general with your personal information. Okay, so I just want to do a quick knowledge check. How many people, and feel free to unmute yourself if you'd like, how many people have actually know what a phishing email is? Anybody?
Sort of.
Sort of? Okay, what is it sort of, Rachel?
Well, sort of some kind of thing that's going to be not beneficial to you personally, to the person who's emailing.
Right,
emailing
right.
you.
Right. Criminals are always trying to get our personal information from us,
Yeah.
like credit card info, bank accounts, passwords, email
Money.
addresses, money. Absolutely. It's all about the money.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what it is. And a phishing email is called a phishing email because that's exactly what the criminals are doing. They're phishing for more information. So there's several ways that they do that. Go ahead, Carol.
Yes, good afternoon.
Hey.
Yeah, okay. Is an email scam and a Facebook scam similar to the same thing, or is it different? Because I was caught up in a Facebook scam where someone had actually used my name and and my name and my picture and sent it to several other people that had contacted me. So is that the same?
It's very similar. A lot of times Facebook, the things that go on Facebook, if they hack into your account, they just they could post things that are, not appropriate. They could try to scam some of your friends into something. Yes, it's, whenever that happens, the first thing you want to do is go in and change your password.
I did that.
Yeah.
And it happened again. So
yeah,
I just shut my Facebook down.
Well, one thing is if it's happening again, a secure password is very important, and a secure password should include at least seven. They say at least 7 characters. Should be a combination of upper and lowercase letters, combination of numbers, and it should also include some special characters.
Okay.
Now, there's all kinds of software out there that can help people come up with what passwords are. But if you have a very, very strong password, it's much more difficult for people to figure out what that password is. Now, I will say if it's also not wise to use the same password for lots of different sites. Each site should have something that's very specific to it. And I know this makes it difficult to keep up with passwords, but we offer some classes on password keepers and things like that to help you manage your passwords.
Okay.
So a lot of people, I have one, it's called, I think it's called Keeper, that I use to manage all of my passwords because there's no way that I could remember them. I have so many for work and for home and, some of my brothers and sisters' information too, if it's a backup for them. So strong passwords is the key to it though, Carol, I will say that.
Okay.
Now, specifically a phishing email though is trying to, it's something sent straight to you, trying to separate you from your personal information, trying to sucker you into falling for something.
Yes.
But they're both kind of similar things. And yes, if somebody can hack your Facebook account, it happens a lot, and they'll send out new requests to everybody. And then you'll see somebody will post something like, I've been hacked. If you get another request for a friend from me, don't reply to it or something like that.
Okay.
Make those passwords secure.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
So phishing email, that's a little bit about phishing email. And let me go back to sharing the screen and we will carry on. So I have a little bit of an idea of who knows what with a prior knowledge check. Has anybody ever heard of ransomware?
Yes.
Yeah. Carol, what about ransomware? What is that? Or do you know?
I really don't know what it is, but I've heard about it.
It's a bad thing, huh?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Hi.
Right. Yes, go ahead.
About phishing. I knew that from years back. In Europe, it's something they put. Let's see. When you try to withdraw money from an ATM, that was the phishing that I know, and apparently they put something over it so that they can read the as you type in your password, is it password or code, and they put
Yeah.
this at ATMs.
Mhm. And that's not a phishing email, but what they call that, it's a skimmer. And it's some kind of little computerized device that they hide in there where you scan your card, and that skimmer actually it actually logs your passwords and things like that. So those are skimmers. And anytime you go somewhere, gas pumps are notorious for those too. Those are other criminal activities that are out there. So a lot of times they're skimmers. And if you had something happen at an ATM, that was from a skimmer. That's not really an email phishing attack, but that's a skimmer, and that's another type of criminal activity that's out there. Yeah.
I see. And the latest one that the lady was talking about, just by yesterday, there I had on the news, that was about 100,000 something was Facebook was hacked into. So anybody who has a Facebook account may want to double check. They had the
Right.
names and the numbers of all. And years ago, Facebook, when it started, I tried to log in, but it asked for a lot of personal information, plus addresses and photos.
Mhm.
And then so I stopped there.
Yeah.
But I think they still have my account. You can't, no matter what it says, you cannot eliminate. If you
feel like you have been breached on Facebook, just as I was telling Carol a while ago, go in and change your password. That's the first thing, because if they don't have that password, they can't get into your account. Even if they've already gotten into it once, if you change that account, they can't get into it. I mean, if you change that password, they can't get into it again. So that's what you want to do there.
The email too. Years ago, I had on Yahoo. It had Yahoo, but without the exclamation point. And my husband didn't know. He thought it was a regular email, clicked on it, and our entire thing was compromised. Now, what is it? And it was from Nigeria.
Yeah. And most of these criminals are overseas. Absolutely. And there have been several emails that I've gotten actually over just this past week about several breaches. One was in Facebook. I can't remember. There was another one. It was quite large, but there was actually one of them actually had a site where you could go in and check to see if you're one of the people whose information had been compromised. But yes, anytime any of your email accounts are hacked, or you think someone has gotten into your account, change your password. That's the first thing that you want to do. So let me jump back here to the
How about changing? I
PowerPoint.
would like to delete that account, but I need to save some.
There's really no reason to have to delete your email account. All you need to do is change your password, because when you change it, that criminal, now it could be compromised again, but again, you just simply need to change your password. If it happens too many times, you could delete that account if you want, and just set up an email system through some other Google instead of Yahoo or something like that. But changing your password is the best thing.
But I wanted to move some of the folders I have in there, and I don't know how to do that in the Yahoo account to another new email account.
Okay, okay, that's another class actually, and I do believe we have some classes on emails that can help you with things like that. You can also go to the help section in Yahoo and do that.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is basically what a phishing email is. It's an email that's sent to you in an attempt to get you to click on a link or an attachment and give away your private information. It's that simple. The email is going to have a link in it for you to click on, try to talk you into clicking on that link, or it's going to have an attachment that is going to try to talk you into opening up. And by doing that, then they're able to get into computer and gather information, or possibly ask you to, they try to trick you into thinking that an account you have is either has suspicious activity or has been compromised, and thus ask you for your information again. And we'll talk specifically about that on the next slide. And this is this. Yes.
So when you say click on the link, so you have your list of emails, and if you click on that email, is that what you mean by clicking on a link? Or do you
No.
mean once you're into the email, there's a link? Yes.
Correct. Once you're
Okay.
into the email, right? Just
Right.
previewing the email is not going to do it. But if you
Right.
click on a link that's in it or an attachment that's associated with it, that's when
Okay.
all heck breaks loose.
Yeah. Okay.
So phishing emails are the most common method used by criminals to try to steal your private information because the websites that they use as attached to these links or attachments can be changed so easily. It's very difficult for anyone to catch them and what they're doing. So the results of a phishing email, this is just things that can happen. Your login information can be compromised, meaning they can get your password to your email. Your data can be compromised. They can actually remote access into your computer and maybe encrypt some of your files or maybe look up some of your other passwords or different things like that, get into your bank account, all kinds of things like that. It just provides a backdoor for hackers to get in and pretty much do what they want with anything on your computer. And also they could plant ransomware on their computer too. And we are going to talk a little bit more about ransomware in a minute. So let's look at a phishing email. Here's a phishing email that actually a friend of mine got, and she fell for it, almost took line and sinker. Let's look at it. Things to look for in phishing emails are words like last chance or any other time limit for you to do something, which is kind of like a high pressure sales tactic. Look for misspellings in the subject line, strange reference numbers, and there will always be some reference to your account being closed or locked or suspicious activity. So in this email, here's what it says. This is the last chance to log in and regain access to your Amazon.com account, I would assume. It's got a weird notice number here, but it looks real. It's got the Amazon logo right here. And it says, "Dear customer, for your protection, your Amazon ID is automatically locked." And down below here, it went on to say, "If you wish to unlock your account, please click here." So the friend of mine clicked on where it said click here, and it took her to a page asking her to verify her account information. And on further down in this email, it actually had a credit card listing with the last 4 digits of her credit card. You know, credit card formats, they can put them in the X's and the dash and the X's, and then they'll show the last 4 digits. Last 4 digits of a credit card are pretty easy to get. You can even get those off of an ATM slip. If somebody doesn't take their slip that prints out, it'll show the last 4 digits there. So she thought that because it showed the last 4 digits of her account, that it must really be from Amazon. So she went in, she clicked on the link, and it took her to a site that looked like Amazon, but it wasn't. Asked for her to verify her credit card number that they had on file, which she did. It asked her for the expiration information, which she did. And it asked for the 3-digit CCV number on the back of the credit card. If she would have noticed at the top of that page, it probably would not have been an Amazon.com site. She would have noticed a kind of off the wall address that it was coming from, address for the web page. But when she got to the part where they asked for the 3-digit CCV number, she knew that she shouldn't really give that away to anybody like this. So she stopped. She closed out the page and stopped. And she called me and said, "What should I do? I think I fell for a phishing email." And when she told me everything she had done, I said, "Call your bank." I said, "You're probably okay, but call your bank and tell them what happened." Well, she did. The credit card number she had linked with her account was actually her debit card number, which was attached to her bank account. So the bank told her, "No, there's not been any charges. You haven't had anything stolen from your account. However, we want you to cut up that credit card and throw it away, and we're going to send you a new debit card with a new number on it." So she was lucky. She didn't get into any kind of problems or lose any money, but she had to go through the hassle of being without her debit card for about 3 to 5 days until she got one in the mail. So the only way she could get any money out of her account was to actually go to the bank, write a check for cash, and to pull cash out. So this is a typical example of a phishing email. Here's your high pressured sales tactic. This is your last chance. Here's your crazy looking notice number. And here's the reference to the account being locked or suspicious activity or something like that. So those are all the red flags in this email right here. Now, if you get a phishing email like this, and some of these criminals are really good on what they put in it to make you think that you really need to do something, that you need to click on the link and go ahead and follow through with what they're asking for. What you want to do is you want to call the company. If it's from Amazon, you want to call Amazon and ask them, is there a problem with my account? It might be from Netflix. Call Netflix and ask them if it's a problem with the account. Now then, here's the kicker. Criminals are always one step ahead of us. So knowing that, a lot of people will go to Amazon, they'll go to Google and they'll Google customer support number for Amazon.com. And it'll pull up a bunch of numbers. They'll click on the first one. And they'll call and somebody will say, yes, this is Amazon. Yes, there's a problem, blah, blah, blah. And they'll try to get you to give up your credit card info. What criminals are doing on Google and other search sites, you can pay to run ads. So what the criminals are doing, they're paying to run an ad that says, this is the customer support number for Amazon. So if you Google Amazon and pull up the first number you see and call it, odds are you're just talking to a criminal bank of a bank of criminals on the other end, playing like, yes, they're Amazon, and oh, yes, you do have a problem with your account. So what you want to do is you want to go to Amazon.com, look up the customer service number. You want to go to Netflix.com, look up the customer service number. So go to that company's website and pull the customer service number off of their official website and call that number. That way you're going to make sure you're talking to someone at Amazon. And if they ask for any specific information, they'll probably ask for security, other info like what was the name of your first dog, what's your mother's maiden name, something like that. So don't just Google a customer support number, go to that site and look it up.
Cindy, what happened to me today about 12 noon, I had gotten an email from taking an Amazon quote, verifying my account. And so I didn't click on taking anything, but I have the Amazon app. So the thing is there is, if you scroll down on the Amazon Taken Basic app down towards the bottom, it says contact us. And that way, and I hit contact us and put my phone number in, and they called me Taken Basically back. So that could be a safer option also.
It is. Absolutely. It is. So that if you do have that app and use it a lot, yes, you can get the information that way too. Absolutely. Very good, Carol Sue. Glad you did that. So knowing what we know so far, let's take a look at this email. Is this a phishing email or not? This is from Norton Antivirus Company. This also went to the same friend of mine, which she immediately recognized as a phishing email and did nothing. So this is a fake invoice from Norton. What are some of the clues you see that this is a phishing email?
I see a lot of hashtag.
That's the first big thing that really kind of stand out there. It looks like they may have copied and pasted something, and some character that was in the previous message they copied transferred some character into hashtags every time that character came up. Here's one here. There's hashtags all over the page, and that's obviously like a misspelling or something like that. So
grammatical.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. If this is really from Norton.com, look up here at the email address. It should be from somebody at Norton.com, right? Right. So this says it's from somebody named Sophia with some kind of a weird whatever here at gmail.com. Well, that's a big red flag too. If this was really from Norton, it would be from Norton, not from someone at Gmail. And what you can do on most all, you can always hover over the name. And when you hover over the name, it will show you the real address of that person that it's coming from. Now in Gmail, a lot of times it shows it automatically. That's kind of a safety thing. But if you have an email that when they send you something, it just says from Norton, or it may say from, Susie at Netflix, hover over it and see exactly what that email address is. And if it's not from Norton.com or Netflix.com, then it's a fake email. Okay. So this invoice number, this is another red flag. Look at why would anybody put exclamation points at the end? Like, oh, look how important this is. It's got 6 or 8 exclamation points at the end of it. That's another red flag. Here's a weird reference number, again, with a bunch of hashtags in it. This has hashtags all in it here. And on down at the bottom here of this, it says this is going to be an invoice for $329 with $20 tax, and your total amount is $349 that's we're going to be charging to your account. And it says if you have any questions or whatever, contact us immediately, and here's the number to call. Well, this number is just going to take you to a bank of criminals sitting there saying, oh, yes, you're calling about your Norton account. Yes, absolutely. We have this, we have a problem with it. We can't put the charge through. We need to verify your credit card information, whatever, and people will just start spilling their information. And all you're doing is giving it to a criminal. So that one's a little easier to identify, right? Any questions on that one? Good with that one? Okay, let's talk just a little bit about spear phishing. Spear phishing takes phishing emails one step further. And what a spear phishing does is just what it says. They are specifically targeting you with information that is familiar to you to try and even better sucker you into falling for their scheme and clicking on an attachment or an email or further doing things that the email asks you to do. It's designed to be from someone that you know or trust. For example, here's an example of a phishing email that someone in one of my earlier classes had happened to them. She had just taken a new job with a new company and had been there 2 weeks. And she got an email from her boss. And her boss said, I'm doing some service recovery with some of our clients. Could you please go to Bed Bath & Beyond and purchase 4 gift cards and email me the codes off of the back of the gift card so that I can go ahead and distribute these, and I'll pay you back later. But I need to take care of this right away. So she was new at the job. It was from her, someone that looked like it was from her new boss. So she did what her boss asked. She went back to the office and she emailed the PIN numbers or the information off the back of the cards that she had purchased, $400 worth. And I thought she had taken care of everything appropriately. And she didn't hear anything back. So within about an hour and a half, she sent a text message to her boss and said, I just want to make sure you got the information on those gift cards. She got a text message back from her boss that said, what are you talking about? So they realized that it was a scam that she had fallen for, phishing email. But that made it seem like she should act on it because it was from her boss. She didn't want to cause any problems. She'd only been there 2 weeks. So she just complied and did what her boss said. But that's what spear phishing is. It's something that makes you want to act because this is very familiar to you. And I guess I really should do this. Now, what they figure happened is, and even on top of that, about an hour after all of that took place, she got a text message from another new coworker that started the same time she did saying, did you get an email asking for purchase of gift cards from our boss? And so she actually got it too. So and she didn't act on it, but they were trying to think, how could people have gotten this information and scammed us? We've only been at this company for like 2 weeks. And the only thing they could come up with, they had both updated their profile on something called LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a system, a site that you can do everything from search to jobs to update your resume and things like that. And they had both updated the resume on LinkedIn, and somebody must have pulled all that information off of there and emailed them and set them up for this spear phishing attack, which they fell for. So that's kind of how the criminal mind works. And that's what spear phishing is. Now, another very common spear phishing email that's out there, and this is something that people of our age would easily fall for. They will send an email. Let's say I have a grandson named Tommy, and people will get information on you and send you an email saying, Dear Cindy, I'm a friend of your grandson, Tommy, and he said that you might be able to help me. I'm in Italy. I was recently robbed yesterday, and I lost my passport, my money, my credit cards, everything, and I have no way to get back to the United States. Tommy said you might be able to help me if you could wire me some money. So that's a very targeted email because
exactly what happened to me. But that was at least almost 10 years ago. uh, and it was
Okay.
sent. But how do they get the exact address, the exact name of this couple? And we had just had been in Hawaii together,
Mhm.
and and it said to send $1,000 because they've been robbed and whatnot.
Mhm.
But I couldn't. The first time I sent it, it didn't seem possible because this man was a bank man. He practically owned a bank in California.
Right, right.
And
Well,
another, this repeated itself, and it was exactly the same thing.
mhm.
But how do they get the exact name in the?
You can find out all kinds of information on the internet just by simply searching for someone's name. For example, if you've never Googled your name before, just go out to Google search and type in your name and hit enter and see all the information that comes up on there. You can click on, it'll show your address. Criminals will find out exactly where you live. It'll give your phone number. And on top of that, it'll give you some basic information, but you can actually do things. If you Google someone's name, there are searches out there, companies that offer searches on people that you can pay $9.95 and get all kind
Right,
of a
people-
search. Yeah, of anybody. So they get it off of the internet. There's information all out there. Our information is out everywhere. So that's how that stuff happens.
Oh, that was before.
Yeah. They can find out any church affiliations, any organizations you're a member of, depending upon what type of search they use. But sometimes just try Googling your name and see what basic information comes up on Google. You'll be shocked to find out. They can find out your neighbors' names and everything.
Cindy, also the
Yes.
other thing is many taken in states. The voter registration taken, your voter registration and the party that you're affiliated with.
Mhm.
When was the last time you voted? Your age and every member that is in your taken in household. I know in Connecticut you can take and do that. I'm not sure about
Mhm.
other states. So you can find out a myriad of information, even down to the age and birth date.
You sure can. Absolutely. Siblings, you can find neighbors. You can find neighbors. I had an acquaintance that had some financial issues, and she actually got a call from someone saying that if she didn't make a payment on this certain whatever it was, that they were going to turn off her electricity. They do stuff like that. She actually, one of her neighbors across the street actually came to her one day and said, "Hey, I got a call from a credit bureau about something that you owe on this company or something." So they actually were contacting neighbors. You can find out who people's neighbors are. So that's just the way. There's so much information out there. You have to just be so careful. So has everybody seen this lady before?
Yes.
This is
Yes.
Barbara Cochran. She's on Shark Tank. Yeah, she's a big
Right, Shark Tank.
philanthropist. Yeah. She lost $388,000. So don't think that it can only happen to people that don't know any better. It can happen to everyone. And the basics of what happened to her was she does a lot of work with renovations and owning properties and things. And she had some property in Germany and was having some renovations done by this company called Concept GmbH, which is a legitimate company over in Germany. They sent an invoice, and her assistant got the email, sent it to Barbara and said, "Is it okay to pay this? Should I send it on to finance?" Barbara looked at it, basically saw the company. "Yes, I've got a contract going with them right now for a new hotel or whatever," and said, "Go ahead and send it on to finance and let them pay it." So the assistant sent it to finance, and finance wired the money. And in the email that he sent with the information, he CC'd Barbara and this assistant. And that's when they realized that the email address that this invoice was coming from was actually one letter off from the email that really was the real email that it should have gone to. So they scammed the email address actually, and actually she lost $388,000. Someone was telling me that she did get it back though. So it can happen to anybody. So don't think that we're all we're not all susceptible, because we certainly are. So let's talk just briefly about ransomware and what it does. Ransomware is a link or attachment that launches a program that allows somebody to encrypt all of your data on your computer and basically lock it down. And your computer's useless. You can't access anything on there. And what'll happen is you'll be surfing along, and all of a sudden you'll see something that looks like this. Some big thing will pop up and take up over your whole screen, and it'll say, "What happened to my computer? Your important files have been encrypted. You can recover your files, but you have to pay me X amount of money. That's why it's called ransomware. They hold your data for ransom. They tell you how to pay. Generally speaking, they'll tell you to send Bitcoin or some other type of digital currency. They may tell you to wire it. They may tell you to, whatever, use gift cards even. That's another way. The criminals like to obtain money because once those PIN numbers are given away, that gift card is rendered useless right away. So they'll lock down your computer, tell you can recover your files. They'll tell you, but you only have so much time to do it. If you don't pay me by this time, you'll lose your files forever. They just give you all kinds of timelines and things like that. They're very helpful though. They tell you all about Bitcoin and how to use it. They give you helpful links on how to complete this criminal activity. But basically that's what ransomware is. Something will pop up and overtake your computer basically. Now, if you ever see anything like this, shut your computer down just as quickly as you can, because when they get in and start running this software to encrypt your files, it may take a little bit. So if you shut your computer down, hopefully they haven't gotten the basic files that will stop you from being able to use your computer again. Go ahead, Carol.
Yes, Cindy, I was going to say also that I was caught up in that a couple years ago, where they had went in and locked down my computer, and I kept trying to go over it and figure out, well, what was wrong. So I just got disgusted, and finally I took it to shop. Yes. And they told me what was going on, and they fixed it for me right then. So yeah, that could happen. Yeah, also.
Right. And that's the thing. Don't think that you can never use a computer again. You can. Right. If you're lucky enough to get it shut down quickly enough where you can boot it back up, then all is well. If not, take it to a computer shop, a Best Buy, a Geek Squad, whatever. Yes. And they know how to recover your data for you.
Right.
The other side of this is, so what if you pay them $500? Let's say they're asking you for $500. If you pay them, there's no guarantee they're going to unlock your stuff anyway. So, it's just a lose-lose situation for us. Now, we'll say nowadays, criminals that use ransomware, they target the big money people. They go after hospitals, or they go after city networks and ask for $500,000, things like that. If you think about it in the scheme of things, let's say a hospital, hospitals are under attack constantly right now because of COVID and everything that's going on. But if you're a hospital system with 400 hospitals across the United States, and it gets your network locked up, everything, where everybody has to go back to paper and pencil in a hospital nowadays, you can imagine the problems that cause. And in the scheme of things, a big corporation like that may think, $500,000 to me and you, that's a lifetime of money. But to a big corporation, that's nothing to be able to, let's pay it. Let's get everything back up and running. So that's what they're banking on and hoping when they attack these large companies or city networks. I live in Houston. If Houston's network was to get shut down, no 911 system, police, fire department, payments in the system, everything, waterworks, everything would just be shut down. So it's easier to go ahead and pay $1 million than to try and figure out how to get everything back up. But the FTC, of course, wants everybody not to pay any ransoms. They just want to know about what's going on so they can catch these people. But that's how a little bit about ransomware, how it happens. And I'm sorry that happened to you, Carol, but you luckily, you did good though. You didn't pay anybody except the guy to help get your computer back up.
That's right.
Yeah.
But that computer repair person may charge you more than, taking a computer to a computer shop for repair or that kind of thing may be very costly too.
It is, but it's not. It wouldn't cost you $500, that's for sure, or $1,000 or $5,000. It would, because they have an hourly rate. And generally speaking, what they do is they have a thumb drive and they plug it in and it runs some software and cleans out your computer and restores the regular files, and you're done. So if if their rate is $50 an hour, then it only costs you $50. Right. So as opposed to the 500 or whatever you would have spent if you paid the ransomware. What they're doing nowadays in ransomware is they actually steal a copy of the data too, which could be problematic for the people that they steal it from, because For example, hospitals, we have a HIPAA law that you can't, hospitals have to be very careful so that people's personal data and information, medical history doesn't get out. Well, if criminals stole a copy of the data from a hospital system, they shut down and then sold that data off on the dark web as that data became exposed. And they looked back into, okay, where did this HIPAA exposure come from? And they found out the hospital that the data was stolen from, even though it was no fault of the hospital, then the hospital will be on the hook for all of these HIPAA fines too. So that's kind of a doubling down on this ransomware stuff that these guys are doing. They're so smart and they're always one step ahead of us, always. So let's talk just briefly about text messages while we have a little bit of time here. Anybody gotten any scam text messages? This is one I got.
Sorry, I can't.
It said, you got a parcel from March pending for you. Kindly assume ownership and schedule delivery here. And had I clicked on that or tapped on that, since it was on my phone, probably would have taken me to another website that was criminal. That would have asked me for a credit card number or something like that.
Oh, I got something like that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, these are very common.
That's why.
Mm-hmm. Very common. And a lady in the last class that I had said she actually got something like this from FedEx. And she was expecting a package from FedEx, but it said, we tried to make a delivery. We couldn't. We're going to need to attempt again, but there's a $1 charge for a second attempt delivery. Please click here to pay that charge. She did. She paid the charge through her bank account, and her bank actually called her that same day about that charge, as well as 2 or 3 other $4.95 charges, all from FedEx. So she realized then that it was a scam. The bank, of course, didn't let the payments go through, but they obviously had her checking account information from her simply just tapping on the link that was attached to that text message. So if you get a text message from someone that you don't know, whatever, just delete it, just block the number so that they won't send you anything else again. But be very wary of these kind of text messages. They're all out there. And if you haven't gotten any, you probably will.
I've got at least 5.
Yeah, it seems like I get one every day.
That's recent.
Yeah.
But I find I was so afraid because sometimes they just pop up.
They do.
Well, not this, in the middle of something. And I thought, oh, maybe that's important. But I try to remember this now. Nobody gives you anything for nothing.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, apply that rule. So even if they said that I trusted a company that had accounts with for like 10, 20 years, if they say I have won something or that they have been selected for something and it's a freebie, I don't believe it. It's better to go, even if it were true.
Exactly. If you should get an email from the Nairobian prince or king and says that you have won the Nairobian lottery, and if you'll send me $2,000, I will process and send you the rest of the money, don't fall for it. That's not real. And most of these type things do come from other countries. They don't originate from within the United States. So this is just a little bit in general on how to stay safe on public wireless systems. Let's say you go to Starbucks for a cup of coffee and you take your computer with you, your iPad, whatever, even your phone, and you decide you want to check your bank balance while you're sitting there waiting for your coffee or whatever. These public wireless systems, they're not secure. Even if they give you a password to go in, it's not secure. It's just a guest password that you're using. So don't do any kind of shopping where you input credit card info. Don't check your bank balance where you put in your password to your checking account to get in and check everything. Don't do anything like that. There's something out there called key logging software. And what a key logging software program does, let's say you're in there checking your bank account or something. Somebody could drive up in the Starbucks parking lot with their laptop and sign on to their little wireless network and then launch this software and get into the different computers and actually log every keystroke that somebody types on their iPad or their computer or whatever. And then what this software does is it goes through and looks for random patterns of things that are similar to social security number formats or credit card number formats or things like that. And then they try using those numbers that this software detects in hopes that they've found somebody's account number. So be very careful when you're using public wireless systems. As we talk, yes.
sorry to interrupt. Now, what
problem.
about, say, like at your public library, when you have to log on? What about that?
You might want to ask them. I would still be very careful because, ask them, is this secure? I don't go to the library a whole lot to use it, but ask them. I wouldn't trust it. I just don't trust anything because there could be somebody in the library there that has hacked into that, that too.
Right.
So, but I will say, as far as bank account balances, credit card balances, check those things regularly, like every day.
Right.
Go into your bank account and check it for suspicious activity. That's one of the things down here to help you stay safe.
Okay.
If you have
Thank you.
credit cards, if you have credit cards, you can set up all kinds of alerts. If there's any charges or activity, you can set up an alert for that.
Mhm.
So check things like that regularly, and that will help too. But yeah, Carol, the next time you go to your library, ask them.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
If I may say something.
Yeah.
What if you're say you ran out of battery and you plug in to use the energy source? I'm also years ago McDonald's,
Oh, yeah.
or airports.
Mhm.
You plug in your they have all this plugs.
Mhm.
You can plug it in so with your own computer and do searches or do some transactions.
Mhm.
Are those even safe?
Now, there's two different things. If you're plugging it in just to charge something, you're going to be safe. All you're doing is using electricity. But if you're plugging it in and then getting on the device and doing some secure stuff, then yes, you're at risk because that again is a public wireless network. But if you just plug it in because you need to charge it, that's no problem.
But
Okay.
using our own device though.
Using your own
Okay.
device. If you just plug it in, you're not in any problems.
No, plug in to use our device.
If you plug it in to use your device, if you get on your device and you are using their wireless network to do something with your device, even though you're charging it at the same time, once you get on that wireless network, yes, you're at risk.
Oh, I have a son-in-law who's Google's, who works for, and he has PhD. He used to do it in McDonald's, but that was before he worked for Google. It's with Google Security.
Mhm.
But I don't know all of the details, because I don't talk with him all the
Right.
time. But
Right. Yeah.
thank you.
You're absolutely welcome. Lastly is one thing is when you're shopping on sites that, let's say I buy a lot of candles, for example. And so when I check out and put in my credit card information, sometimes it says, do you want to save this credit card information for your next purchase? Don't do that. Tell them no. There's no reason for your credit card information to be sitting on someone's server out there in case that server got hacked and your credit card information could be at risk. If you decide to order again, just put in your credit card information again when you do decide to order. So in wrapping things up, we've got about 10 minutes left, and I just want to quickly do a wrap up and then show you some sites that are out on the internet I'm going to send you links to. These are basic steps to take to protect yourself and learn the signs of phish. You want to look for an unfamiliar tone or a greeting. Basically, if you didn't initiate the email, just ignore it. Look for grammar and spelling mistakes. Look for a threat of urgency, a sense of urgency, any kind of high pressure sale tactics, suspicious attachments. If it's something that you're not sure you should click on, don't click on it. You go with your gut feeling. If you did not initiate the conversation, don't pay any attention to it. Just move it to trash, delete it, whatever. And remember that these will always claim there's a problem with your account, like suspicious activity, or your account's been deleted, or your account's been put on hold, or something like that. They'll also ask, and whenever you do click on something, they will always be asking you to confirm personal information. Don't give any of it out. Okay. So that said, before we go, let me check and see how to hover over email address on the cell phone. Don't know that you really can. I see some questions here in the chat. I don't know how you can. You could actually try to reply to and see what the email address is that pops up when you try to reply to something. Don't reply to it, but you could maybe check it that way. I'll do some investigation on that and see if I can send an answer in the follow-up email. Are they ever caught? Yes, these criminals are caught. And in fact, I got an email from the FTC. I subscribed to emails from them saying that they had recovered over like 400 and something billion dollars over the last year from criminals that had scammed money. So yes, they do get caught, and they depend on us to report to them to let them know when there are things that happen to us. So I've got a site here that I will show you also. Let me see. And it will show you how to actually report things to the FTC. These are all websites that I'll be sending you. This is a link to how to report fraud. And if you get something, whether it's a phone call, a letter, even an email, a text, you can report it to the FTC from this page right here, and report it, because you never know. The one time you do report something may be the one thing that gives them the information they need to push it over the edge where they can catch a criminal. So don't be afraid to report things. Here's how you do it. You click on this link right here, and it pulls up another page and asks you, what are you reporting? So you can click what the category is, and let's say it's this is actually so what I want to look at, government agency, an imposter. Let's say I get a phone call that says they're from the Social Security Administrator. I can click this, and it pulls up a little info down here. Who were they pretending to be? Well, they were pretending to be the Social Security Administration. So I'll highlight that. When I click continue, it pulls up a page where it asks for all kinds of other information. Did you send them any kind of payment? No. Did they ask you to pay money? Yes. How much money did they ask you to pay? We'll say $5,000. How did you first learn about it? Well, I could say this was a phone call. What was the number you were asked to call back? I could put some kind of a number in here if I wanted. Please select all telemarketing violations at a call. If you're on the do not call registry, you could check that. Or maybe there was no caller ID info, you could check that too. And then you could put in here the number they told you to call back, and to give the date when you received it. You go on through here, and then all of the bottom down here, you can actually just free text, type in anything you want. I got a call from someone saying they were the Social Security Administration. If I didn't call them back, they were going to arrest me, something like that. And then all you have to do is go down and click, you put your name and info in here, you go down and submit it. So this is basically a whole form page that you give them. But when you click submit, it goes to the FTC, and it gives them gives them all the information, and in hopes that they can catch a criminal.
Could we have a copy of this full form, please?
Actually, I'm going to send you the link to it. I'm going to send you that information.
Thank you. And one important question before I forget. If by chance you click on something on your Android, will that transfer you to the virus or whatever to your other devices, like your computer, desktop?
No,
and all?
No, not unless you, no, it will not. It'll just affect whatever device that you're actually on at that time.
Oh, thank you. That's a
Right. Okay, so here's a link on just everything kind of that we talked about. It's kind of a review of everything, how to avoid phishing scams. It tells you how to recognize them. It gives you a sample of one. Look at this. This is this is a phishing email from Netflix. It says your account is on hold. We all have Netflix now because we're stuck inside, so we're watching movies all the time. So it says, please update your payment details. And it says, hi, dear. Well, I'm pretty sure Netflix knows my name. So it would say, hi, Cindy. So it says, we're having some trouble with your current billing information. We'll try again, but in the meantime, you may want to update your payment details. So update, click right here and update your account details. That's what they want you to do, is click on that link. And then it says down here, it says they're so helpful. You can visit the help center or contact us now. And if you click on either one of these, it's going to take you to a criminal phone bank. You're just going to be giving away information. So this is a link that I'll send you to. All of this kind of just covering everything that we just covered today. And then this link is a little bit of a quiz where you can take a quiz and see what you learned, how well you know how to identify phishing emails. So let's look at this one. You can click on what you think the right answer is, and it'll tell you if it's right or not. So you can go through and look at this. Email authentication can help protect against phishing attacks. True or false? Does anybody know what email authentication is? Sometimes there's something called two-factor authentication, where if you log into a site, they will actually send you an email for you to follow a link to make sure that it's really you that's sending, that's asking for access to that site. A lot of times they do two-factor authentication using a text number. When you log in, then they will text you a code that you have to enter in. I know PayPal does that a lot. So that's what two-factor authentication is. But this is just a site where you can go in and test your knowledge. This is a site that has common COVID scams in it. You know, anything that's a hot topic in the news, that's what people are going to be talking about. And that's what the criminals are going to be jumping on and creating scams for. So here's a link to all kinds of scams on COVID-19. There's scams for the checks that are coming out. People may call you and say, for $20, I can get this, this payment will hit your account today. Wire me the money or give me your credit card info for $20 or whatever. So this is a good information for everything about COVID that you could be scammed with. And lastly, we have just a couple of minutes. I'm going to send you this site so that you can go in and see if your email has ever been compromised. Now, this is called Have I Been Pawned? Now, pawned isn't really a word, but where this came from is from all the gamers that play games online. There's got people that play games back and forth online. And when they win a game, they will type, you know, you can type comments to people while you're playing as well as talk to them. But when they win, they will send a chat basically to the person that they beat and say, you've been owned. They say, if I beat you, I own you. So they type it in and they're typing it in a hurry and they misspell own. And because the O and the P are right next to one another on the computer. So that's where this came from. Have I been pawned? Now I have two email addresses that I use. One that is for all of the junk stuff that I do. And I'm going to type it in here. And it will tell me if it's been compromised anytime, at any point in time ever. So putting this email in here, if I click pawned, it says, oh no, it was pawned, meaning that that email has been breached. And this is kind of a lot of higher up IT stuff I don't really understand, other than it tells you the breaches that they found in which this email address was pawned or was compromised. And that's what this info is right here. So I'm going to send you this site and you can go in and see if your email address that you use has been compromised. Now, if it has, you don't have to quit using it. All you need to do is what? Anybody guess? Change your password. Absolutely. Change it to something very secure with at least 7 characters, combination of upper and lowercase letters, numbers, and special characters. Those special characters are very important. So I will send you that link also. So any final questions that anybody has that maybe I can help with before we close out everything?
I have one.
Okay, go ahead.
Is it okay to email? Is it okay to open up email when you're not sure about?
If you open it and read it, that's okay. Just simply opening the email itself won't be a problem. But if there's a link in it to click on or an attachment with it to click on, that's where you get into trouble.
I see. Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And the other one that I carried was how to hover over the cell phone. So if you could get back to us later on.
Yeah, let me see. Oh, that's not a mail I want to go to. See, my email actually set up to where it shows it. When I open an email, like right here, it says this is from Zox. When I click on it and open it, it actually shows me this. Who it's from. It's from bros@zox.la. That's the Zox website. So I know this is legitimate. A lot of times it won't show you anything. It won't show you that bros@zox.la until you actually hover over the name here. So that would be how you would hover over your email.
But in the cell phone, you cannot do that.
No, in the cell phone, you really can't do that. You don't really know. Like I said earlier, all you can do is like maybe tap reply. And then when you reply, it may give you the address of who you're replying to. And if you do that and you see that it's not really from Zox.com, then I would know it's a fake.
Okay.
But again, if you didn't initiate that email or that conversation, just ignore it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anything else for anybody?
Yes. I was wondering that just by opening the email, would get the virus or whatever.
No, that's what Mashiko was just asking. Just by opening it up to where you can read the whole thing, you won't get it. But if you click on a link or an attachment that's associated with that email, that's what they want you to do, and that will cause you problems.
Oh, because I think my late husband just clicked on the email to get the email, and that was our biggest thing because our whole mail.
It shouldn't. That shouldn't. It shouldn't. But again, just to be safe, if it's from somebody you don't know or you didn't initiate the conversation, just don't even open it up. Any other questions?
Yes, one question about the the websites and like Starbucks and all of that. What about the websites they give you to use in the hotels?
Same thing.
Same thing.
Same thing, right?
Okay.
Even though they give you a password, it's simply a guest password where they can track all the different people in the hotel that has actually used their internet.
Okay,
that doesn't mean it's secure. Now, I will say this: if I can show, let me show one thing to tell if you are on a secure website or not. Let me just go out, find something here. If you can see my screen, this up here, it shows the address, haveibeenpawned.com, and it's got a little lock icon in front of it. That means that this is a secure site. So if I put my email in here, it's a secure site, meaning that it's very, very difficult to hack into these secure sites. Can it be done? Yes, if the criminal's smart enough, but for all practical purposes, this is what you want to see. If you're ordering from a company somewhere, you want to make sure that you see this little lock here in front of it, meaning that it's a secure site. So anytime you're ordering something, before you put in your credit card info, make sure it's a secure site. Okay, so that's how you can tell if something is a secure site. Sure, that'll be helpful too. Anything else, everybody, at all? This has been a great class. Y'all have had a lot of very good, interesting comments and good questions, very good questions.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're more than welcome.
Examples that you show, that helps because I never know looking at it. And I'm last comment, if they can hack into the Department of Defense years ago, what else? And Facebook, you would think Facebook would take all the security measures.
And you know, Sylvia, they take all this security measures that they can, but the criminals are always outthinking us. No matter how smart you are, or no matter the best prevention that you have on your networks, you still can be hacked if the right guy tries to do it and they're smart enough.
Oh, one important information. I just recently, and I don't know, I hope I didn't click on it. It's software update.
It depends on who it's
words. Software, you never think of anything of it. And software updates are ready, just click. And that goes to your whole system. Takes
you have to think, you have to see where you have to see where that's coming from. If you're just using your computer and something pops up and says click here for important software updates, don't do that. Your Windows update, you can go into your settings and set Windows updates to where if there's important updates to your system, you'll know to go through it that way. But if something just pops up and says click here for important updates, I wouldn't do that, because normally when you shut down your computer and start it up again, that's when your updates will occur.
I wouldn't know. Oh, you mean pop up while I'm in the middle of something?
Yeah, don't ever click on any of those. Yeah, if you're just minding your own business and something pops up, don't ever click on any of those, just to be safe.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. I hope to see y'all on some other classes, and I hope I didn't throw too much at you all at once, but good luck and stay safe out there. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Cindy. Bye.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Have a blessed day.
Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.